Hey, what's going on everybody? JS Cards here, coming at you with another video for the Coalition of Scrubs channel. Welcome. Today we're going to be going over my Invoked Dogmatika Shaddoll deck, and this is going to be an EDOPro deck profile because I got some replays and stuff that I want to show you, and I think we'll go over like the main bread and butter combo as well. But I also have this deck in real life, and I'm really excited because I'm going to be taking it down the locals this weekend and testing it out in person. Playing online's way different than IRL Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm glad that real events and stuff are starting to open back up, which is awesome. But for right now, we're just going to do this on EDOPro. Hopefully you guys don't mind that. Hopefully this is informative for you, and if you're new to the deck or you want to learn it, this might be a good place to start, but there's lots of people playing this deck. It's still really good, and these archetypes all work well together. You got Invoked, Dogmatika, and Shaddolls, and I really like the synergy of this deck quite a bit. I mean, a deck where you get to play Winda and Makaba both in the same deck is really good. I mean, both of those cards can help you win games just on their own, but when you have both on the field, it can be really tough for your opponent. Plus, we have a handful of hand traps as well. So, jumping into the main deck, of course, we have Triple Aleister. This is your normal summon for the deck. Basically, if you can normal summon him, you're going to be set to go. Then for our Dogmatikas, I play 2 copies of Ecclesia and then 1 Fleur de Lis and Maximus. Maximus is really, really good in this deck. Fleur de Lis, I thought about even upping to 2, but I really don't think it's necessary. But if you want to play 2, go for it. And then for Shaddolls, I'm basically playing 1 of all the good ones. So 1 Wendy, Squamata, Beast, Dragon, Hedgehog, and Ariel. I basically just cut the number. I know some people like to play 2 of a lot of these, sometimes 3 Wendy. I decided to cut down the number of Shaddolls in order to just play more hand traps. Really, you're fine playing just 1 of all of these. And I mean, you can fuse with them from the grave, from the deck. You really don't need multiples, and being able to play more hand traps and negate your opponent's stuff or stop them from stopping your stuff is really good, and you really only need 1 of all these Shaddolls, and then the rest of the monsters are just hand traps. So triple Ash, because it can just stop everything, triple copies of Ghost Bell, and then we have Gamma in case they decide to Ash us or try to stop us. We can negate that, and of course we have the driver. Moving on to the spells, I play 3 copies of Magical Meltdown. Awesome field spell, so good. We get to play 3, which is really nice. I play 2 copies of Nadir. Now, like I said, this is a real-life deck profile that I have, and I only have 2 copies of Nadir in real life, so I decided to mimic it exactly like how it's built in real life. If I were to cut anything for this, I don't really know what I would cut. Maybe a Ghost Spell and then add in a 3rd Nadir, or even an Ecclesia maybe, but I tend to use 2 Ecclesia quite a bit. 2 copies of Invocation, you don't really need 3. I actually cut the 3rd one to add in an El Shaddoll fusion. This card's really good. It's nice that it's a quick play. You can activate it on your opponent's turn. And then 3 copies of Shaddoll fusion. 2 copies of Super Polymerization, another card that you don't really need 3 of. It's not as good right now in this format as like previous formats where it was very necessary to play 3, but helps you out certain things. And then 1 Called By and 1 Terraforming. And then for the 2 traps, just the Schism and the Dogmatika Punishment. Moving on to the extra deck, this is a very tight extra deck, and there's maybe like 1 thing I would change, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. 2 copies of Construct, 2 copies of Abcalone, and 2 copies of Winda for our Shaddoll fusions. I think this is really standard. I know some people play 1 Construct, some people play 3. When I had 1, I found myself really wishing for a 2nd one, and that's been totally fine. Sometimes I do go into 2, or I have to get 1 into the grave or something. 3 copies, I don't think is necessary. I really like having just 2 copies of all of these. For our Invoked fusions, I'm playing the 1 Makaba, the 1 Agnoides, and the 1 Purgatrio. I think, again, 1 of each you're fine with. I would like to maybe play a 2nd Makaba, but space is really tight. And then we have, of course, our Titaniclad and Elder Entity Entis. These are basically cards you want to get into the grave or use your punishment on, that type of thing. And then for our links, we have the Almirage and Secure Garna, of course, to go with our Aleister play. Gravity Controller, which is really nice with your construct, and then one Cross Sheep. This is actually something new that I'm testing. I was playing Verte Anaconda in here, and that might go back in because it's great to be able to copy one of your fusion spells names and stuff, but I actually kind of like this just because we are doing a lot of fusion summoning. So if you fusion summon a monster to one of the arrows Cross Sheep has, then you can special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard, which might just be able to let you extend from there if you happen to have another one of the fusion spells in your hand or something like that, or you could link it away. There's a few different options, but Cross Sheep is something new that I'm testing out, and it's kind of nice so far. I kind of miss the Verte though, but we'll see. And then for the side deck, it's just more disruption here. We got triple copies of Nibiru, triple copies of Droll, the one Pankratops, 3 Dark Ruler No More, 3 Cosmic Cyclone, the 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, and the 1 Red Reboot. So yeah, as you can see, back row can sometimes hurt this deck. Sky Striker's a thing now, so we just want to be able to, you know, kind of slow them down with some spell removal here. Dark Ruler No More can help shut down annoying effects that your opponent has. Pankratops is just great for going second, and then more hand traps for whatever our matchups are. So that is it for the main deck, side deck, and extra deck. Let's move on to the combo. Alright, so this actually is a great looking hand. You basically want access to Aleister and then your Ecclesia, which we have right here. So we are gonna activate our Magical Meltdown. We're gonna add Aleister here. Now, if they stop Meltdown or, you know, something like that, it actually works out because we have a Gamma, which is great. But yeah, basically, you just don't want your Aleister to get stopped. So we're going to normal summon, activate effect. All right, and then we're going to actually link away our Aleister into Almirage, and then into Secure Garna. Then we will activate our Invocation to bring out our Mechaba using Secure Garna and the Aleister in our grave. We can then activate Invocations to get Aleister back into our hand, and then Invocation back into the deck. Now, if you didn't have Ecclesia, you'd be able to do your Nadir Servant here, but we have her, so we're gonna special summon. Defense is probably the best way to go, and we'll activate her effect. And we will get our Maximus here. Really, Fleur de Lis is good too, but I'll just kind of show you how good Maximus is, because you can then banish the Almirage, special summon. Now, we already have our Schism here, which is really good, so we don't really have to go searching for that, but we're going to activate Maximus's effect, and we're going to send, let's see, what do we want to send? Abcalone and probably your Titaniclad. So, oh, and then we get to select for our opponent. I mean, doesn't really matter. Sure. So Abcalone's going to activate. We can get anything into the grave now. Usually you would put your Schism in here, and then you could get it back with Construct. But yeah, we don't really have to do that. So we could go with Hedgehog. We could discard the Hedgehog. Why not activate its effect? And we could get like our Wendy into our hand or something. And then this is kind of it. Then you'll set your Schism, and you'll go to the end phase. End phase, Titaniclad will activate. And then you could get your Fleur de Lis. You could either add it to your hand or special summon it, just for fun. We could special summon it. So like at the end phase, this is what your opponent's dealing with. So then during your opponent's turn, you can then flip up the Schism, activate its effect. We can get rid of, or I'm sorry, we can go into our window by getting rid of any of these cards. Probably the Titaniclad and Hedgehog, why not? Don't think it really matters. And then on your opponent's turn, we have a window. So yeah, this is kind of like the main combo. And, you know, just depending on, plus we still have like 4 cards in our hand, which is awesome. It would be 3, I think, without Hedgehog's effect, but still, this is really tough for your opponent to do anything. Now, I just kind of set up a mirror match, so we had an extra deck to mess with when we use our Maximus. But yeah, I mean, your opponent's probably just gonna surrender, honestly, if they haven't stopped you this far along. So yeah, let's try another test hand. That's like the main combo, but maybe we can do some test hands. So let's take a look. Okay, yeah, so like same thing here. I mean, this is gonna get us exactly where we were. We got our Magical Meltdown, add the Aleister, Normal Summon, go into our Secured Gardena from there, Invocation. Now we do have 2 Invocation, which is kind of nice because you could fuse multiple times, but let's see what we can do here. We'll get our Invocation back and our Aleister back. Let's see. I mean, we even could, if we wanted to get greedy, or no, actually, you know, we could maybe play this a little bit different. So we could even go into our Purgatrio by using the Almirage and the other Aleister that we have. If you wanted to, I mean, that's just another option. And then from there, go into our, oh, what are we gonna send here? And then get our Ecclesia. Select a card to add to your hand. Probably just get our Schism. So then here we're gonna special summon out our Ecclesia again. We could get our Maximus. Special summon that Max. Activate. We're gonna send our Construct and our Titanclad again. For our opponent, it doesn't matter. Use Construct to get Schism back. We're gonna set. And then that's pretty much it. So then we would end phase. Titaniclad would activate. Now in this case, because you want to bring out your Winda, we could just add Fleur de Lis to our hand. Could have gone for Ecclesia too, but doesn't really matter. Main phase, alright, and then we're gonna flip Schism. Yes, we'll activate it. We're going to go into Winda by getting rid of our Construct and our Titaniclad. That's gonna go up here. And come our turn again, you know, depending on whatever happens there. Look at, we're set. I mean, yeah, we're looking really good. Okay, so now this one's kind of interesting. We got a Shaddoll that we might be able to work with here. So let's just hope our normal Aleister goes through. Activate effect. Get our Invocation. Probably just keep going into our Macabre just because that's such a good card. But we do have the El Shaddoll fusion too, which is nice. So from here, Invocation. and we will get into our Macabre. Activated Invocations effect. Get back our Aleister. So then here we can go into our Ecclesia again, because I think you want to use El Shaddoll Fusion on your opponent's turn. So that's why I'm kind of holding off. But Ecclesia, we can get our Maximus here. Activate. We can special summon, activate effect. Now there's a few other things here. You don't always have to send Schism, especially because we do have our El Shaddoll Fusion anyway. We could send our Titaniclad and our Ab Cologne for our opponent. Like I said, doesn't matter, it's just a bot. We could activate Ab Cologne to, oh, I don't know, what could we add to our hand? I guess we could just get Schism into the grave, but doesn't really matter at this point. So then we would then set the El Shaddoll Fusion, pass it over to our opponent, and then end phase we would use Titaniclad's effect. You know, we could get Fleur de Lis, so why not? So then we could flip up the El Shaddoll Fusion, go into our window. We could use our Aleister and Ariel. We could use Ariel's effect. You can banish some cards if you want, not really necessary. So, you know, here's just another really solid board without any interruptions. Now, if you do get stopped along the way, you might just have to, like, sometimes you end on, like, a Shaddoll monster face down, or you might end on, like, maybe just the Macabre, but even that's still good, or maybe you end on, like, a Construct. You know, the boards aren't always going to be this big, but that's why I have some replays to show you guys. So without any further ado, I'm just going to cut to the replay part. There'll be some music for you guys to listen to along the way, and hopefully you like this deck and this helps you learn it a little bit better or learn how to maybe even play against it. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos from the Coalition of Scrubs. Thanks for watching and enjoy the replays.